All right, and welcome back to Quantum Break. Last act, we finished off with taking an adventure to the island where Monarch is having the gala, and Paul Serene just threw us into a cell. Martin Hatch had come in to chat with us and basically just disclosed that he's starting a coup. And gave us a gun and a key to our handcuffs. And Beth Wilder just came in and opened the door. So let's see where this is going to take us.
My cover isn't going to survive the night, but it'll last a little longer, so you can't walk out the front door with me. This is the quickest way to the R&D facility. I disabled the security at the back door, but there'll be guards. Contact me when you're clear.
Of course,
Jack,
there's guards.
you know what's at stake here. This can't be about revenge.
I'm not here for Paul.
Good luck.
Hey! He's escaping!
Damn. That will hurt in the morning.
My powers were growing. I was learning to control them better. That felt good.
Who the hell designs these doors? Okay, I'm gonna have to move faster to get through.
Oh, I also forgot, since we're here, I did go back and find the two ones that I was missing the chronon sources for. There's one in the swimming pool and one here, and yeah, went back, sorry, maybe ground zero. But yeah, went back and found them. They weren't too hard to find. More or less, I was just being dumb and, well, needed to look a little harder, so that wasn't too bad. And also, there was 2 quantum ripples that we haven't been able to look at till now that we finished the video. So not this one. Part 2. Ah, there's one right here. The T-Rex. So Cause Pebble, a standee of a T-Rex with a football, and the text Rexes appears out of nowhere in the industrial area in 2010. A time travel, closed loop, a paradox, a prank? Effect Ripple. The new Riverport football team, Riverport Rexes, is formed and adopts the T-Rex as their mascot in 2011. Effect Ripple. Due to a university fraternity prank, the standee ends up on Gull Island in a rowboat. Effect Ripple and identical. The same. Standee goes missing at Ground Zero in 2016. Ground Zero drone surveillance inventory. Again, with the time travel. We know it's possible, yeah, but it doesn't follow that every single thing is. No, look, wait, this one, though. It appeared right out of thin air. Well, out of thin air. Time travel doesn't really work like out of thin air. Good to know. And the other one, the Pebble was senior broker Haskins loses his gala invitation. Intentional sabotage accident. Haskins is late to the gala. His wife divorces him. Haskins on a burnout leave. Fact, Haskins' invitation is sold on eBay by someone using a pseudonym Blanche McDougal. Effect, a large number of monarch butterflies found dead from coast to coast. Because some dude lost his invitation? What? Interesting. Well, there's the 2 ripples we found.
Very sci-fi and very Monarch. Something tells me it wasn't commissioned by them, though. Hey, Beth, I'm clear. What's next?
You'll see a radar tower up ahead soon. Let me know when you get inside.
All right. Oh, you could have warned me about that one, Beth. Okay, how am I getting to that radar tower? All right. Up you go. Let's try this again.
Ah, I get it.
All right, that's it.
Man, the dry dock's off turned into a disaster. We're gonna take a week to clean it up.
It was all supposed to be quietly swept under the carpet. But now we've got a shitload more bodies to disappear.
Well, at least we got it under control now. Direct fire!
Time felt broken here. The timeline of the old cannon felt loose. I could shift it around.
Smart place to aim the cannon, guys. Okay, quicker next time.
Gull Island Sign. Riverport Coastal Defenses. The coastal defense installation of Riverport was commissioned on August 2, 1940, and completed in September 1942. As America faced the realities of World War II, in addition to the fortifications and artillery, it also boasted an extensive tunnel system that linked Gull Island to the main island, enabling free movement of personnel and material even under siege conditions. It was built in preparation for an attack on the United States that fortunately never came. The original plan also called for the construction of a large naval base in Riverport to support the U.S. Navy in the Atlantic, taking advantage of the local shipbuilding industry. But as the United States entered World War II after Pearl Harbor, a change in resourcing priorities led to those plans being scrapped. The installation was in active use throughout the war, and the underground facilities continued to be used as a base for naval intelligence work once World War II ended. The installation was decommissioned in 1961.
It's locked.
thinking. Monarch projections say these stutters are getting more frequent. If one hits while we're grabbing Dr. Amaral...
You'll be frozen. Yeah, I know. It's a risk.
Monarch specialist troopers have the stutterproof gear. I bet Dr. Amaral would have that in her office too.
I'll keep an eye out. See if I can grab it for you.
Yeah, well, it's locked up. I hope they put two weapons in.
Disabled security and unlock the gates leading to the tower. Let me know when you get there.
Thanks, Beth. Need to get to the radar tower. Okay, next stop, the radar tower. Great, another one. Beth? I'm at the radar tower. Where's the lab?
Below your feet. It's all top secret. The elevator inside will take you down.
Oh, seriously? What is this, a Bond villain lair?
You have no idea. Just don't fall into the shark tank.
Fuck.
Hmm.
Folks, this is your pal, Bobby Radford, and you better believe I'm still hopping mad about what went down at the university last night. But I got nothing new on that. I'm getting stonewalled. So So let me take another approach. You know how Monarch took over the old dry docks, what, 5-6 years back? Just bought it all up and set up some kind of an industrial operation there or something? Well, it turns out they had a freak accident there this morning. One of those unfinished ships came crashing down. You probably heard all about it. It was pretty spectacular. You'd think there'd be some kind of explanation for what had to be a multi-million-dollar disaster. But guess which multinational corporation has no comment on that little event either? Now, I don't know about you folks, but it seems to me all of a sudden there's a lot of weird stuff going down and Monarch's name just keeps coming up. So what's Monarch doing about it? It's business as usual for them. In fact, they're throwing a party at their fancy mansion on Gull Island. From what I hear, it's gonna be a hell of a bash, but of course it's off limits to anybody who isn't a part of their clique. Kinda seems to me these guys bought out Riverport, and now they're getting drunk while the city burns. But I'm sure they've got our best interests in mind, huh?
Thank you, and welcome. Tonight marks a momentous occasion. For years we have been building towards this day. Years of planning, developing, training. For me personally, this marks the end of a 17-year journey, and today we emerge from the shadows. We do so accepting great responsibility. I present to you the CFR, the Chronon Field Regulator. This device has been at the heart of our Chronon research since 2010, but I am here to assure you that it is so much more than just that. This device will be our salvation, and as promised, it is ready. To some of you, this means nothing. To others, everything. Rest assured, you will all know when the time is right. We are entering a volatile age. Great danger is coming our way. It cannot be prevented, but we can be protected. And so tonight is a celebration. A celebration in the face of darkness. We celebrate, but for some of you this means nothing. For others, everything. Rest assured, you will all know when the time is right. We are entering a volatile age. Great danger is coming our way. It cannot be prevented, but we can be protected. And so tonight is a celebration in face of darkness. Tonight we celebrate because I promise to you that we are prepared. We are prepared for what comes next. We are prepared to do what is necessary. We are prepared to survive. Thank you.
Look at him. Not a care in the world. Beth, I'm about to take the elevator. See Paul's still fond of his own voice?
Yeah, he's talking about his survival plan. Crowd's eating it up. Jack, the local security network just lit up. They know you're there.
Dr. Amaril's office. Looks like that's one level up. Doesn't look right. Damn it, freak.
Are you sure this can't be traced back to us?
Positive. I've adjusted the flight controls so the drone will crash into the villa in your order.
Good. Very good. I'll make sure that Sophia's in position when the time is right. Wait for my call.
It was some kind of surveillance drone. Knowing that Monarch had eyes in the sky made me a little uneasy.
What the hell is this? What is that? It's like I'm being drained. The hell do they make things like that?
The device drained my powers.
We refer to it as a chronon dampener.
From Paul Serene to the lifeboat maintenance. One email. Greetings, lifeboat personnel. The day has finally come to commence Phase 3 of our plan. Tonight I will be hosting a gala to celebrate the monumental achievement to which you are all invited. By now, you have likely heard of the events that took place earlier today at Riverport University. Our path forward has not been impacted by this minor setback. We are ready for what comes next. Your part in this journey has not yet begun, but the onset of the fracture will bring with it new challenges that are worth reiterating. I am not able to go over many of these issues in detail at tonight's gala because many guests will not have knowledge of the lifeboat protocol. As such, I am including a high-level document outlining key points worth addressing. The path forward, the lifeboat protocol, shifters, R&D tour. The path forward. When you were first chosen for the lifeboat protocol, you were sent a package illustrating in great detail several events that would come to pass. It was stressed these events were unavoidable. Many of you were reluctant to believe this, but every single one of those events has since occurred, including, to our great regret, the onset of the fracture. This provides empirical evidence of my knowledge and understanding of the future, and I trust it has dispelled your doubts. No future event that I have experienced can ever be prevented. This includes the end of time. It cannot be avoided. However, it can be survived. Survival in the end of time has been the primary mission of Monarch Solutions since its inception. Your loyalty to this cause will prove invaluable as we move forward. I know this isn't easy, but in the face of immutable facts, sacrifices must be made in the name of our survival. From this point forward, we will have to start taking those sacrifices at a rapid pace. While we do know the exact date and time at which the complete end of time will occur, our knowledge about the escalation in stutters and time anomalies leading to it is far less complete. We do, however, know that it will be dangerous. For the first time in 17 years, we are entering a phase of the relative unknown. Adjustments will need to be made along the way, both in response to the effects of the fracture's progress and to the less cosmic events that we will find ourselves in. We ask for your patience in this trying time. Lifeboat Protocol, you are the chosen few who will survive the end of time. When time stops, your journey will continue in the safety of the lifeboat. The Chronon particle harvesting operation is near completion. The lifeboat has been confirmed to be able to run solely on that Chronon power, as regulated by the Chronon field generator. Current data indicates that the lifeboat will remain sustainable for approximately 50 years. Subjective years, of course, as no time at all will pass outside the lifeboat. Given the preliminary research we have achieved using the CFR, we estimate that it will take at least 2 subjective decades for the lifeboat team to discover a permanent solution for the end of time. Given the nature of the problem, this is of course highly speculative, and the solution could prove to be more elusive than we are hoping. However, by the time the lifeboat protocol is activated, we are confident that we will be able to increase our Chronon particle reserves and their sustainability to a point where we have a runtime of upwards of 200 subjective years. Or, to put it another way, if there is a solution to the end of time, I am 100% confident that the lifeboat team will have the necessary time to discover it. Shifters. We briefed you all on the danger of Chronon disrupted wave function subjects, or what are now being referred to as shifters. We estimate that they will begin to emerge within stutters only as the end of time nears. The lifeboat has been tested, and we can say with absolute certainty that the stutter-proof technology will protect the lifeboat from shifters. Using a living sample in Dr. Kim's lab, we have proven that shifters cannot manifest without the presence of a stutter. We will make sure that you are transported to the safety of the lifeboat before they arrive. Floor 3 of the lifeboat has been built to house the Monarch Solutions Striker and Juggernaut squads, a paramilitary unit trained to combat shifters at the end of time. Their presence will likely not concern you. However, in the event the travel outside the safety of the lifeboat proves to be necessary for any reason, the Striker teams have been trained to navigate the end of time and successfully eliminate shifters. R&D Tour. Tonight, we will be sending you VIP passes for the Gala, which will permit entry into our high-security R&D facility on Gull Island. Many of you are, of course, already intimately familiar with these areas, given your technological and scientific expertise, but those who aren't will undoubtedly find it interesting. You are welcome to join a tour to view the various pieces of tech that Monarch has developed during Phase 2 to prepare for our journey forward. We welcome you to take this opportunity to see for yourself that every development necessary for the lifeboat protocol is completely on schedule. Your dedication to our cause will assure our survival. Dark times are coming, but you are the light at the end of the tunnel. You are humanity's salvation and hope. Together we will survive. Paul Serene. Ooh, that was a note and a half. Shifter presentation. Chronon disrupted wave function subjects, also known as shifters. Key attributes theorized to exist in a state of quantum superposition, surrounded by a highly dangerous distortion field, highly resistant to injury, conventional weapons useless. Populate the end of time, can only exist in zero state inside stutters. Appearances likely once fracture progresses. As a result, shifters cannot enter stutter-proofed areas. Procedures. Keep your distance. If not aggressive, do not provoke. Avoid confrontation. Seek cover inside stutter-proofing. Maintain stutter-proofing at all costs. If forced to engage, assemble superior numbers with Chronon Tech weapons. No heroics.
Okay, I gotta get to Dr. Amaril's office.
Serene ordered Hatch to kill me because he didn't want to put his plan at risk.
Oh.
With seeing the scale of that facility, I started realizing just how deep that plan went. It made me wonder.
Jesus, I didn't even notice that they were...
What was it all for?
Dr. Amaril's office. Looks like that's one level up. What have we got here? No. Looks like I need to find another one. Fuck me. That was hardcore.
It was clear that Monarch had been building the Chronon technology for years. They were prepared for the fracture.
None of it would have been possible without the CFR.
Oh, hello?
These things were designed like walking tanks.
They weren't for you. Don't flatter yourself.
Let's try it again. Might be able to get out from here.
Well, that was dumb.
guessing this isn't the usual employee route.
I knew that Monarch had technology to let their soldiers move in stutters, but this was bigger than that. Somehow, time flowed normally in that area. Suddenly, Monarch's lack of concern about time stopping made a hell of a lot more sense.
Why they needed 5 of them, I do not know.
Dr. Amaril's office must be close. No alarms. Looks like nobody here knows about the mess I made on the way in. Nice job, Beth.
Gull Island Monarch Notice Board. Friday social at 3 p.m. every Friday in the kitchen area. Snacks and beverages provided. Take a break from your hard work and enjoy yourself with your coworkers. Play some video games and shoot a few rounds of pool. Do not use the radio tower entrance as a smoking area. That is so small. Yeah, I'm not be rid of the Chronon text wanted, and please return all used cups to the kitchen. Somehow return your cups, so no one has to die. Interesting.
Now, look. It's just math. The more people, the bigger the area we need to proof, and the less time we're gonna have. Literally.
Martin Hatch to Clarice. Must move forward. I've aided in Jack Joyce's escape from his cell. He is here to kidnap Dr. Sophia Amaral. This presents the perfect opportunity to move forward with our agenda. Tonight we send Monarch into a state of chaos. Tonight we ensure Paul Serene's downfall. When Paul hears about Jack's escape, he will order Sophia Amaral to be locked away in the villa for protection. As Jack nears her location, have Stetson sabotage the drone surveillance so that his movements will remain undetected. Assist Joyce's mission in any covert manner possible. Sophia is Paul's only resource capable of developing the treatments he needs. With her out of the picture, we only need to destroy his remaining treatments to render Paul helpless as his sickness grows. All of his treatments are kept in Dr. Kim's lab. I will gain access to the area and ensure that the entire lab is destroyed. I predict that Paul's sickness will take hold within 6 hours of these events, spurred by the increasing frequent stutters. Only then will we make our final move. What is happening with this story right now? Well, that's unfortunate. That's quite the face, though. Doesn't he just look adorable? Fiona Miller to Beth Wilder. So, from Fiona, Joyce in custody? I just got word that Jack Joyce is in Monarch custody, walked right into the mansion on Gull Island and gave himself up. What the hell are you two up to? If you want my help from the inside, then I need to know what's going on. Yeah, oops. I'm sure you noticed that things didn't go exactly according to Planet Ground Zero. Seems like a running theme lately. Can't go into details now, but we found something that I believe is the key to retrieving the countermeasure. The solution is in sight, but we need to kidnap Sophia Amaral in order to get it to work. Jack gave himself up as part of a plan to get him inside. I'm on my way to release him so we can get to Amarl. A poor man's Trojan horse. Desperate times, desperate measures. What's your status? Any update on the Dr. Kim lead? We may need your help from inside to pull this off. Any chance you can lower security in and around the R&D facility? Our plans might actually overlap for once. I'm going to attempt access Dr. Kim's lab tonight during the gala to find out if he knew about the countermeasure. I still think that's our strongest lead. However, if I get inside, I should be able to shut down some of the security measures from inside. The problem is that getting inside that lab might prove to be a long shot. Couldn't get a hold of Amarl's key card, so I've resorted to shameless flirting in order to find a means in. I'm going to the gala as Charlie Wincott's date in hopes that he can get me inside. That's if I can hold back from punching out the douche for that long. Consider this a test of restraint. I know that you think Jack is the key to obtaining the countermeasure, but the evidence is really stacking up that Dr. Kim knew something about the device. All of the research he did in that lab is classified. They're hiding something big in there. I'll let you know what I find. And warn you that your plan on the island sounds reckless, but I'm sure you're fully aware. Keep in mind, the minute Dr. Amarl goes missing, the entirety of Monarch is going to be hunting you down. She's the only thing keeping Serene alive. He won't let her go without a fight. Martin Hatch to Monarch Security Team leads. People, it seems you are having an even busier day than we anticipated. Be aware that both Liam Burke and Jack Joyce are now being held in the detention center at the island. It should go without saying that Burke no longer has any authority within Monarch Solutions, and should be treated as any other detainee. Both Burke and Joyce are considered exceptionally dangerous, and Joyce particularly so. He is Chronon active, and should be handled with caution. That said, Joyce has given himself up. It's possible that he has realized the futility of his position, and the fight has simply gone out of him. But I'm not convinced he has no ulterior motive. Mr. Serene has to concentrate on his speech tonight. It's extremely important to the future of this company, so please ensure that everything goes smoothly. In the meantime, I will personally be conducting an interrogation of Joyce. Please expect my arrival at the detention center shortly.
That's Emerald's office.
The Emerald had tried to warn Paul. The end of time was approaching quickly. Less than 24 hours away.
Mr. Serene believed it would take years to run its course. Admittedly, he was wrong.
So from Paul Serene. Sophia, as promised in our latest session, I am now going to transcribe what I recall from my dreams. I still have doubts that this exercise will help alleviate my symptoms, but I'm willing to explore the idea further if you truly believe it has merit. For someone who is not a medical doctor, let alone a mental health professional, you seem to take a great interest in my thoughts. Not that I don't appreciate it. Here is my first attempt. I recall a haunting image of 7 red doors. Each door had a wrought iron handle that was dripping liquid metal onto the ground, creating a pool in the middle of the room. I looked down into the aqueous metallic glow at my feet to see my own glimmering reflection, revealing that I had aged half a lifetime. Startled, I looked back up to discover that only one door remained. Jack Joyce stood in front of it. The heat in the room was overwhelming. Jack was sweating profusely, his skin red and peeling open. He begged me to take him back home, but there was no door leading home. I opened the only door left and entered, discovering that we were back in the same room we had just exited. He refused to come to terms with this and opened the door again. I followed him over and over as he desperately opened the doors, forever leading us back to where we started. The heat grew, and he howled in pain, begging to know why I made the other doors disappear. Why there was only one path. He begged me to bring the other doors back. He begged me to take him home. The iron pool bursts into flames. Jack screamed in agony. I grabbed him, told him that we needed to learn to endure the heat, to embrace the flame. I knew it would come to pass eventually, but the only way to survive it was to accept its inevitability. My body began swaying rapidly, dancing to the movement of the flames around me until my bones faded out of existence, and I surrendered to the fire until we were one and the same. I was no longer one being in one place and time. My life force spread evenly across the flames until I was no longer an individual in one body, but a grander, shifting entity. I could feel Jack being consumed within my essence. I felt a power within the heat, a clarity of intent. I forgot about my desire to ever return from the flames, because the body that once desired to return was lost forever. I became the very thing that I entered, and it became me, a cyclical fury chasing itself, an Ouroboros. I woke up in a cold sweat. I quickly wrote down words that poisoned my mind in that moment. Delmore Schwartz was right. Time is the fire. With Jack Joyce in our custody, I thought it relevant to forward you a message you sent me years ago. Do not underestimate the significance he holds in your life. I understand your concern that he is reluctant to accept the inevitability of what is coming. However, when he sees the whole picture, he'll have no choice but to believe. We all had our doubts once. You showed us the light. Give him time. Projected fracture progression. We've looked at the preliminary data on the frequency and severity of the stutters and crunched the numbers, and the results are alarming. Our original projection, which gave us years until the fracture reached the point where time breaks down completely, does not match up with the progression of stutters we are experiencing. Put simply, the stutters are happening more and more frequently, clearly indicating that the Meyer-Joyce field is breaking down much faster than we thought. Taking the rate of acceleration, we can hypothesize that we might have as little as 24 hours until we reach the end of time, or the point at which time stops and no longer starts up again. We do not know why the original projection was wrong, and why that data, which we do consider reliable, coming as it does from Mr. Serene, seems to entirely contradict our current findings. Regardless, the main issue seems clear. In order to achieve Monarch Solutions' stated goals, the lifeboat protocol should be activated ASAP. Chronon Disrupted Wave Function. Subjects, also known as shifters. Much of what we know about the shifters is theoretical, based on observations made by Mr. Serene, and the limited experimentation we have been able to conduct on the only subject we have managed to capture. They do not seem to have a stable physical presence. Rather, the data we are gathering appears to be fragmented and contradictory, as if there were countless versions of the subject occupying the same space. Our current theory is that they somehow exist in a persistent state of quantum superposition. Or to put it another way, with reference to the famous Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. The full mechanics and implications of this exceed our current understanding, but on a practical level. It seems to make them highly resistant to injury. It appears that even if the shifter encounters deadly force, it may kill one of its aspects, but because it exists as multiple iterations of itself, including iterations that were not killed by the force, it doesn't stop. Current theory suggests that the only way to stop a shifter is to cause its wave function to collapse from the superposition to a single eigenstate. In practical terms, the shifter must be affected with deadly force enough times for it to run out of healthy versions of itself. As such, direct confrontation with the shifter should be last resort. Slide 2. Contact with a shifter is extremely dangerous. We know that they are essentially mobile repositories of vast amounts of chronon particles, and that they can only exist in a zero state, an area which has been depleted of chronon particles. typically by a fault in the Meyer-Joyce field that encompasses the universe. Colloquially, we refer to these as stutters in time. We also know that shifters are hostile to any source of chronon particles other than themselves within stutters, so any chronon active individual within a stutter may find themselves targeted by shifters. It appears that movement in stutters, by which we mean the very movement of particles within the space in which time flows, not merely the movement of an individual, disturbs them, and they respond with considerable aggression. As discussed previously, shifters are extremely resistant to damage. They are also quite physically formidable, but their biggest threat is the distortion field around them. Its exact nature is unknown, but we know it warps the properties of space surrounding them, exerting great physical stress and unpredictable forces on its surroundings. Again, in practical terms, close proximity to a shifter may be fatal even if no actual physical contact takes place. Slide 3. The stutter-proofing technology Monarch Solutions has advanced offers solid protection against shifters. Time flows normally within a stutter-proofed area, so shifters simply cannot exist within them. Therefore, as long as stutter-proofing remains active, shifters are not a problem. However, stutter-proofing of large outside areas is not feasible given our chronon particle budget, so we have developed other technology to defend against the shifters, the chronon dampeners. A chronon dampener works by annihilating free-floating chronon particles within a specified area. As shifters' forms are hypersaturated with chronon particles, they cannot enter an area in which a chronon dampener is active without their wave function collapsing. Therefore, our operatives in the field have a solid portable defense against shifters. Our own technology is shielded against the dampener's effects, so activities and stutters undertaken by our striker teams and other operatives are not hindered. However, as an unfortunate side effect, the dampeners have a crippling effect on individuals who are chronon active without the aid of technology. Accordingly, should Mr. Serene be present, you should always make him aware of your intentions before activating a dampener. You may rest assured that the dampener is not powerful enough to do any actual physical harm to Mr. Serene, whose systems constantly produce new chronon particles to replace the ones that are lost, but as the dampener's effects are unpleasant and enervating, such an encounter is likely to lead to an awkward conversation about future career prospects. CFR Briefing. CFR Briefing by Sophia Amaro. It's no exaggeration to say that the Chronon Field Regulator, or the CFR, is at the heart of all of Monarch's technological advances. It has taken on a somewhat mythical quality, given its origins and the vital role it plays in the Lifeboat project, but in actuality, the CFR's applications are very practical. That's not to say the CFR hasn't had a course-altering impact on the work Monarch Solutions does. It's been hugely influential in the development of both the stutter-proofing technology that allows us to shield large areas from the effects of a zero state, enabling time to keep flowing within them even as it stops everywhere else, as well as the smaller personalized application of the same technology, the portable chronon harness that allows our soldiers and technicians to operate freely within stutters. We think of Dr. Henry Kim as the father of all this technology, and deservedly so, but for all of his brilliance, it was his dedication to uncovering the secrets of the CFR that allowed him to make his breakthroughs. Despite Dr. Kim's hard work, the CFR's functionality is still not fully understood, and we have not been able to replicate the device. Having more than one of them would obviously be greatly advantageous to us, but we find ourselves a precarious position where in order to fully investigate it, we would have to take it apart. Given its immense power, such an undertaking would pose obvious risks. Perhaps even more importantly, there's no guarantee that we would be able to put it back together again. Given that it's vital to our implementation of the Lifeboat protocol, it's our policy to leave it intact. We do know, however, that the CFR can not only store an immense amount of chronon particles, it can also tap into the Meyer-Joyce field and, with great precision, manipulate it. It's this unique ability that our own chronon technology replicates, albeit at far less control and efficiency. It's also what makes the lifeboat protocol a reality. By itself, our stutter-proofing technology is powerful and reliable, but its rate of chronon particle consumption is high, and it increases at an alarming rate as we widen the volume of space the stutter-proofing covers. This would, on the face of it, make the stutter-proofing a very temporary solution indeed, one that could perhaps buy us some subjective weeks once we enter a permanent zero state, but which we would ultimately only delay the inevitable. However, the CFR changes all of that. When the permanent stutter-proofing installed on the lifeboat, indeed, the very stutter-proofing that makes the lifeboat in the first place, is directed by the CFR, the system becomes vastly more efficient. Our chronon particle consumption is reduced to around 1% of what it otherwise would be, given that chronon particles are hard to source, even at our ground zero installation, and our stockpiles are decidedly limited. This means that the CFR makes the difference between the lifeboat being a temporary stopgap solution or a very long-term undertaking that hopefully allows us to eventually find a solution to the end of time. That's not all the notes either.
That there looks like what Beth wanted. Oh, shit. Emerald's at the party. The stutter won't last. I better find a way out of here and get to the party.
The purpose of the gala. Okay. Greetings. It has been brought to my attention that there is some confusion as to the reason for the upcoming evening gala on Gull Island. I understand that some feel that such a celebration is frivolous, even misguided. In the aftermath of last night's events at Riverport University and the now present steadily advancing fracture in time, these concerns are understandable, but they are missing the bigger picture. Monarch Solutions is now entering a phase in which its true purpose will be fulfilled. We have finally arrived at the moment for which we have spent years preparing. The purpose of this event is twofold. First of all, for those selected to be part of the lifeboat project as scientists, technicians, support personnel, or in some other role, it will be important to see and hear Paul Serene. Continued confidence in the survival program is vital for the continued survival of Monarch, and ultimately the human race itself. This is particularly important given recent events. We need to present a desirable and reassuring counterpoint to the sacrifices we've had to make. Naturally, not everybody at the party will be among the chosen few, so a certain degree of informational hygiene will be required. I trust you will ensure that those reporting to you are informed precisely to the degree necessary. Secondly, for all of our autonomy and vast resources, Monarch is not functionally independent from the rest of society. In order for our plans to succeed, we will need the support and cooperation of the authorities and numerous business partners, even though they don't know our true goals. A demonstration of power and confidence, as well as a clear message that Monarch has the will and the reach to fulfill our plans, will go a long way towards securing that support. This is particularly important given our recent hardline approach. We cannot weather the storm of public opinion without support from Riverport's higher echelons. And if they consider us weak or a liability, they may choose to probe deeper into our activities. This is precisely the kind of escalation we do not need at this crucial juncture. In conclusion, this is a tremendously important event for the future of Monarch Solutions and for the future itself. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Martin Hatch. Oh, I am so sorry for that amount of reading.
quite expensive piece of tech you stole.
Bill me. I knew Beth's cover wouldn't last long. Had to get it to her at the party before it was too late.
From Sophia Amaral to the Monarch team leads. Hello, I have just been informed that the Time Machine core we obtained from the university has reached Monarch headquarters safely and is currently being installed into the new Time Machine corridor system we have constructed there. As you know, the core of the Time Machine is the Time Machine. The corridor around it is merely the user interface. This means, of course, that once the installation work is complete, we have effectively moved the Time Machine from the university into the Monarch headquarters. That said, we don't intend to use it. Let me repeat that. There are no current plans to use the machine. We are not sure how safe it would be to use, given that its initial activation has caused the fracture. I personally believe that now that the core has been activated, further use would be safe, but make no mistake, this is a hypothesis, not a proven fact. We know that the machine taps into the universal Meyer-Joyce field, and somehow that connection has caused the fracture in the field, apparently because of a misconfiguration. We are looking into the specifics, but until we know for sure, it would be irresponsible to use the machine. However, having it in place gives us a degree of control. It allows us in an emergency to travel backwards, although we obviously can go no further than to the time of its activation last night, or forwards as might be required. Obviously, being fully secured at our building's restricted area on the top floor also means that nobody else can use the machine. I have to reiterate that the only person who may authorize the use of the Time Machine is Paul Serene. I do not have that authority. Martin Hatch does not have that authority. The only person who does is Mr. Serene. He takes this issue very seriously, and I strongly suggest that you do the same. Charlie Wincott to Fiona. From Charlie. So I had a dream about you last night. It wasn't anything bad, don't worry, but it was pretty fucking weird. Let's just say that if you have a second mouth hidden under your arm, and it keeps on insisting that the international stock market's being controlled by the Pittsburgh Steelers, this would be a real good time to tell me. I mean, I don't usually have premonitions or anything. I don't believe in that crap. But just the same, I'd hate for that one to turn out to be true. Oh, and also, that mouth eats nothing but sausages. Real chompy chomp style. So, you know, there's probably nothing Freudian happening there. Just wanted you to know. What are you up to? Jesus, Charlie, I can tell that you're a man of great sophistication. Do you major in smooth talk, or... Actually, hey, speaking of education, I heard rumors that the op coming up at the university. I know you know, because you always know about that sort of stuff. It sounds pretty serious. What the hell's all that about? Well, as far as the university thing goes, I can't really talk about that. I mean, yeah, obviously I know. I'm like the first person they talk to about something like that, but it's classified. I'm sure as hell wouldn't put that down in an email, so maybe you should just come down and talk to me, you know, if I was free to talk about it, which I'm obviously not. Bring food. Seriously, I can't talk about it. I don't even want to know how you know about it, but you should still bring me food. Not sausages. Don't make this weird. Brenner's mug. Check out Burke's contacts. Who's he working with?
Guns made to operate in a stutter. Paul had clear priorities. When time ends, guns don't. The Monarch combat gear was unwieldy. What I'd taken from Dr. Amaral's office was much lighter, almost like a civilian model.
All right, well, just said Act 3, Part 2. So, we are going to just leave this part here. And, yeah, thank you so much for watching. That ended up being a lot of reading at the end of that one, so I do apologize. They decided to put, like, 10 notes right next to each other, so... hopefully you didn't mind that, and can't wait to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.